Hello and welcome to a video for SAP Business One, where we're going to go through a workflow from sales quote all the way through to payment. So the steps we're going to walk through here are sales quote to sales order to delivery to invoice and then to payment at the end there. So we're going to start off the process with a sales quote. Now we have our sales quote here already up, but this is found under the menu and it's going to be found under sales and it's going to be found under sales quote. So it's going to open up a blank document here. Now to start, we need to add a customer. So I'm going to add a customer here. Once I have my customer in, then I'm going to add my item number. So I'm going to put in a couple different items here. So let's say I want these 3 items on my quote. I'm going to add some quantities here. And let's say we're just going to put in some unit prices. If I do have these set up in a price list, it will come up with a price there. And then I'm going to put in a tax code here, and I do have an exempt tax code here just for testing purposes. And now that completes our sales quote. All of our dates are already populated up here, so I don't have to do anything there. So items, quantities, prices, total. Here's our quote. We're going to add and view now. Now our sales quote's been added. Now once we have a sales quote in the system, we can interact with this. So options to bring this back up and copy it to a sales order are to copy it to a sales order from the bottom right of the open sales quote here, or if I have the sales order open, there's a copy from function where you can identify that business partner and copy from, and it'll show you a list of all available sales quotes there, and you can choose this one. But for the remainder of the scenario here, we're going to be copying to everywhere. So let's go to copy to a sales order, and it's going to bring everything up. Here's all the information copied over from our sales quote. Now, something we do have to put in here as a mandatory field is a delivery date. So I'm going to put in a date for next week. I do have the opportunity now, while this has still been has not been added yet, to manipulate some of this data if I need to. So I could adjust quantities and prices if I needed to do that. But let's say this is all good to go here, and I'm ready to add my sales. Now my sales order has been added to the system here, and I have an open sales order. So same thing as with our sales quote there, we're going to copy this too. So next step in the process here is going to be a delivery. So we're just going to keep walking on through here. So open sales order, come to the bottom after it's been added. We're going to go to a delivery. And now we have our delivery document. So on our delivery document, same thing. We can choose to do a partial delivery of this or a full delivery. So this is all the quantities from the sales order. If I wanted to do a partial, I could adjust the quantities. It will leave those lines open on the sales order that we could deliver later. But let's just say for this scenario here that everything is what we want it to be, and it's going to complete it and close out our sales order there. Now something to point out at this point here too is that on the delivery here we can go into the logistics tab and we can change information as far as the ship to. This is tied to the business partner master data and where this is going to ship to there. Now let's add this to the system here. And now our delivery document's been added, and typically what we'll do now is print out a packing list for this delivery. So in the system here I do have a layout that I can use for a packing list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File. I can go to the default, or I can print the default if the packing list is the default in the system. Otherwise, I could select a layout in print, meaning if there's multiple different documents, I could choose one of them. For this scenario here, I'm going to do a preview to show you what it would look like if it did print. So here are the different layouts. Like I said, this can be a default here. So let's do a packing list here. So if we have one configured, we'll set that as your default there. So I skipped ahead a little bit while that loaded, but here is a packing slip that we have. So it's this is provided by Business One, so some of this information may not match yours, but it's going to display some information here: item numbers, descriptions, quantities, totals, and this could be put in with the box there. So to print this, this is a preview. You could do File and Print that out to your local printer there, and then include this with the delivery. Now once that's all done and you're ready to turn this into an invoice, same thing, we're going to open up our open delivery and we're going to copy this to an AR invoice. Now here's our invoice. And let's say this is all good to go here. Same thing, we're going to add this to the system. And now our invoice has been added and we have an open invoice in the system. So the next step is to pay this invoice. To do that, we can do a couple different things here. We can go to the invoice itself. We can click on the payment means icon down here in the bottom right. It will open up the payment means for this invoice. And we can choose from a number of different options here. We can do check, we can do bank transfer, we can do credit card, we can do cash. For this scenario, I'm going to do cash on here. We have our GL account here already identified. I'm going to apply a full amount down here in the bottom right. It's going to transfer over here to paid. I'm going to click OK, and what it does is it drops me into incoming payments. So I said there was a couple different ways to do payments here. You can come directly into incoming payments, identify the business partner, and select the document that you'd like to pay, or you have the ability to select multiple if you'd like. So you could pay one or multiple once here. So I have this one selected. I have my amount due. When I click Add, it's now been added to the system. Now what happens when you add an incoming payment to the system? I'm going to go back to my invoice, and as you can see it's still open, but when I refresh it, it's going to close my invoice down. So now everything's been closed out here. As we've been walking along here, as I create new documents, the previous document closes out as we do it here. So everything should be closed now that we're all done. I'm going to show you a relationship map here of the whole process start to finish. We have our quote, order, delivery, invoice, and then payment all in one straight line. Thank you for watching this video. As always, please reach out to us here at Support One with any questions. Click on the link to subscribe for more content.